All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? And welcome to tonight's DV Night Talk. Now, this is going to be a special one. Pastor Jay and I had a conversation, and so that's why it's called an evening conversation. I know it probably wasn't a jazzy, snazzy title, but I'm going to be playing our recording, and this is us having a conversation over the phone, kind of a little bit of behind the scenes. And of course, sometimes he shares about his YouTube channel and all of those types of things. So, as podcasters, we tend to do that, sharing what we do behind the scenes. And so he kind of shares often. And so do I, what I do on my podcast, what he does on his podcast, and kind of asking people after he's put out certain things. So when you hear us talking and you hear him talking about, hold on one second. Pardon me, you guys. These pauses again, because I don't want to cough in you guys' ear. When you guys hear us share, and when you hear Pastor Jay share, he's not sharing because he's trying to get clicks and views. He is sharing honestly what he's doing. So these are the things that he's sharing about how he's going to be putting out what he's going to be putting out on different platforms and asking for commentary and all those things that he's going to be putting on his platform. So we have a lot of conversations like this. So right now, I am going to get our conversation started. It will be a recording between he and I. So please, if you do want to also go check out his channel on Walk and Truth TV, please go over there as well. And if you want to send him personally an email, it's Sutton, Sutton, 968 at gmail.com. Now, there are other emails, and you can check out his channel to find out where to send stuff for the church and all of that. But if you want to talk to him personally, please reach out and also drop some comments also for him to reach out if you have any questions, or maybe you have a disagreement, maybe you don't agree with the conversation or his particular point of view. Remember, some of these points of view are our opinions, what we think, and sometimes it is from watching patterns of behavior from certain people. So, anyway, we were talking about a lot of different things, talking about brokenness in men, why that word is not the best word to really utilize to discuss men. More of the word of personal development. There's more developing they need to do, more growing. And that's also on the side of women as well. So, with that, I am going to let our conversation roll. So enjoy, and I will be back after our conversation. Enjoy our tonight's conversation with DV Night Talk. That's what our conversation is, DV Night Talk. So enjoy this conversation tonight, and I shall return. Okay.
Okay, I have a YouTube. I guess it'll be a short because it's not a long because it's just asked the one question.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women, I've been hearing women talking about uh these men being broken, right?
Right.
That on YouTube and Instagram and through the social media, I see these women talking about these men being broken, and I see these men falling into that saying these men are broken, and I suppose that I think people need to think about the word broken as in if I have a pencil that's a writing pencil or a pen and I snap it in two, it's broken. But
Mhm.
before it was broken, it was put together, right? It was
Mhm.
functioning correctly.
Right.
And I broke it, I broke it. Um, Somebody who's working on their job and doing a good deed on their job and doing a good thing at their job, they lose a spouse or a relative or a mother or father, and they can't get over it. And their job suffers and their life suffers. Their normal day-to-day life suffers. That's broken. They were on track. They were doing good things, and a tragedy happened in their life. Okay. Now, for these men that I notice that they're saying it to, I don't see the on track. I don't see the doing well. I don't see that they were on the right track from the get go. So the verbiage I would use instead of broken is they were never developed.
Oh yeah.
They were never together to be broken. And so when you label them to be broken, it really helps them stay in that state of underdevelopment because they think something's wrong with them because what you're saying is they were right at some time and somehow or another they were broken and you have the key as the woman in their life to get them unbroken, but iron sharpens iron.
Mm.
They were never sharpened. They were underdeveloped. They needed coaching. They need fathering. They need mentoring. They didn't need another mother. And what that brokenness does is play into your ego as a woman, saying, "Oh, I can fix it." The woman, I can fix it. I can fix it. I can make it happen. Especially if you're a boss chick, I can do it because I run a company. And most of these women find out that they can't
Yeah.
because these men need to be around men.
Still a man.
Men,
Yeah.
men that don't care about them like that, not trying to sleep with them, not trying to coddle them, not trying to date them. They need around men who are trying to draw the line in the sand and bring them along and help them develop as a man.
Right.
That's what they need. So I got a question out. I'm working on the video now. Wait, like I say, for my editors to do what they do with it. And then I'm going to put it out on Facebook on the Walk in Truth Christian Fellowship Facebook channel, my personal James Sutton, the second Facebook channel, and the Walk Truth Radio Network Facebook channel, plus my YouTube long, the Walk of Truth TV, in the short and in the long form, and asking the questions. And I just want you women to answer. You can get the information, email me at sutton968@gmail.com if you want to have a longer answer to my question. And I want to see what you say. And then what I'm going to do is, however many females answer, and I'm going to talk to some females privately, however many answer, I'm going to kind of sum it up.
Mm.
And then I'm going to ask the men, what do they say? What do they think of behind the statements that said about their brokenness? Do they come up with the same conclusion that the reason why they're broken is this? Or do they think that they're even undeveloped, or do they even think that they're broken? And I already know, I'm willing to bet that what they come up with is going to be different to that question or to that verbiage of brokenness versus being undeveloped. And what you're going to find out, that gap in between is the problem, because one is trying to fix the problem with a wrench and the other one's trying to fix the problem with a hammer.
Mm.
And it doesn't work. So I'm just curious, every now and then I get curious about that kind of stuff between men and women and social stuff with the stuff we've done online with cuffing season and what have you, and Hub Son and all of that. And I just noticed, like I say, I haven't heard this word to me. He's broken. Men are broken. They need to, part of the brokenness is get in touch with their feminine side and all these weird little statements that truly play into the ego of the woman. So
and the emotion too.
Yeah, the ego, with all that ego, emotions, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes her feel good because he's broken, and then she's the answer to fixing him. And really, it may be she is actually enabling him to become what she's labeled as broken, and the fix would be to leave him alone and point him towards a man.
Yeah.
That can help develop him. That don't look him as broken, but just looks at him as being undeveloped, needing coaching and mentoring and things like that. So, yep, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I think we're gonna have more conversations about that, because I was up late one night, as I typically am sometimes, and TikTok had this lady on there that was hosting a rebuttal and debate between women and men, but then she posted a prompt that said, why are black men, or what is attributing to black men being bitter? And and it's not a place for people to come together, because people that were trying to come together, she's like, nope, that's not this is a rebuttal, it's for men against women. I was like, well, why would you make that? And she's like, when I make a prompt about women, nobody comes into the space, but when I make it about black men, everybody comes here to see why black men are bitter, why they're angry. And then some of the men that were speaking will say, well, the government has done what they did, and then it's these women. And then some of these women would say, wait a minute, you're going to blame us for you being bitter? You're a
Yeah,
grown man and you're
yeah.
blaming me for what you can't do.
See, that's not brokenness. That's undevelopment.
Yeah.
See, because first of all, my answer would be define what you characterize as being bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Because you couldn't just throw that general phrase out there because it's subjective. Like, okay, you're saying why black men are bitter. Give me some of the traits of a bitter black man.
Right.
Okay. And depending on what you said, my answer would be like, that's not a trait of being bitter, but I'm standing on what I believe. See, what you're confusing is I'm not moving off my manhood to capitulate to what society wants me to do, that I know that's not good for my manhood or my family. So is that bitter? Give me the definition of bitter, and then I can answer the question. But just to
Yeah.
say that and then start blaming again, here we go. Underdeveloped men, you're blaming everybody but yourself.
But yourself, no accountability.
You're 40 years old, and you're still talking about what happened to you when you was 2 and
Mm-hmm.
10 and 5. But you've lived a life up to this point. But on certain subject matters, you got to revert back to that. That means you're underdeveloped. You ain't broken. You underdeveloped. Now, there's some who have something real tragic. I'm not so stupid to believe that there's not men who went through a childhood that's so tragic. But I would say this: as a man, you learn to overcome, and that's where you need to be developed. No matter how bad what you had happen to you, you have to learn how to adapt and overcome, and that's something that you have to be taught.
Mm.
That's something it has to be developed in you and mentored in you, how to overcome the obstacles. That's what the military is good for, is overcoming adverse situations. No matter how bad it was yesterday, if I can open my eyes today, I have a chance to win. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it depends on my mental, emotional, spiritual state. And see, and again, men can develop that in men better than but this, I'm gonna blame it, the Adam thing. I'm gonna blame it on everything, but never take no personal responsibility. So when things go right, now watch this. When things go right, I don't give anybody any credit.
Right. It's all
But when
me.
things go wrong,
It's everybody else.
it's everybody else but me.
Right.
See, so you got, in those rooms where they throw out that, these men
Yeah.
need to know they're being baited into something that needs more definition.
Right. And not be just answered off the cuff. And you're sitting there with other women that are egging you on to say stuff, and you fall
Mm-hmm.
into saying stuff, and now you're arguing with a person you don't even know her. And you guys are arguing like you guys are married, back and forth, screaming at each other at the top of your lungs.
I mean, it's just the same thing. Like, remember, black women supposed to be bitter, right?
Yeah.
Why is she bitter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why is she bitter? Because if I'm a black man and I say she's bitter, then I have a definition of what that looks like. So I need to be more detailed in what I consider a bitter black woman. And a lot of times, what we consider a bitter black woman is a woman that has been abused by a black man, right? In some form
Right.
or fashion, whether did take care of the kids, whether physically, emotionally, sexually, financially abused her. And for some reason, maybe she's picked the guy like that a couple of times. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's bitter because of what she's been through. Now watch this. But then even her, she has to think of, why do I keep picking these type of dudes?
Yeah.
Right? I ain't gonna make it easy for her either. Why do I keep picking these type of dudes? Well, The Bible was clear what the purpose for older women. They want something to do other than trying to be what men are called to be. He said, train up these women to be wives and mothers. And there's this gap now because you're pursuing everything else but that. So you're not really training them up to be wives and mothers because they're doing what they want to do. And sometimes doing what you want to do, doing the way they're doing it, ends them up in these situations. So instead of blaming the guys they're picking, if they picking the same kind of guy over and over again that does these things, these multiple things to them, they got to understand, how do they end up falling for that guy each time? What is it in them that they're here we go, underdeveloped in, that I pick these type of dudes?
Yeah.
Not broken, underdeveloped.
Excuse me. That's
So
what,
my bitterness has a lot to do with my approach. And then again, here we go, same thing. Enduring and overcoming. Some woman needs to come help her learn how to endure and overcome without being her past being an albatross around her neck where she can't be happy. Because a lot of times with women, you see them endure, right?
yeah.
But the endurance becomes just a coping mechanism, and they never can get to joy. Sometimes it's not all women. Sometimes, so they need somebody to come along and to teach them how to get that albatross from around their neck too. Coaching, mentoring, that kind of thing. So now, instead of being broken, they just look at it as they need more development. And to me, that's a more positive statement. I need development. I'm not broken.
Yeah.
That's such a negative thing to say.
And you know what? And when you said that, it made me think, because I have a friend and we talk a lot. And one of the things that we were sharing is like, I don't know why I always pick these men that need help, like a Build-A-Bear. And I want to figure out, I don't know if it's my family, and the women side of us have always gone and figured out ways to help these men, I guess, in the state of, I don't know, trying to help them to, like you're saying, develop. But why do I gravitate to those kind of men that aren't already developed? What is it in me that is attracted to a person like that? I couldn't understand why, and I can't explain to it, but there's always something in us we need to develop too, and maybe won't be able to attract those kind of people that's still developing, that still need growth in certain areas in their life, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing, right?
No. But brokenness sounds so, you know what I'm saying, compared to development, right?
Yeah, brokenness sounds so permanent.
Yeah, it sounds
Sounds
permanent.
permanent.
Yeah.
It's like you'll
Like,
never be
like,
fixed.
like, like, but I'll never be like new.
Yeah.
You know, you put some glue on me and throw me back in there, right?
Yeah, you'll be refurbished.
Yeah, refurbished, right. Whereas develop means that I'm on the path, on a journey.
Yeah, you're becoming.
I'm becoming. I'm always
Mhm.
becoming.
Yes.
Evaluating my past, taking lessons from my past, never letting my past be the anchor, the albatross, the thing that stops me from walking into my newer future. The TSA moment that I always talk about, you can't take it with you to get to your destiny, because even though you bought the ticket,
You're
so you
gonna
got
have
to
to
make a
leave something.
decision at
Yeah.
you got to make a decision at any point in that time of your journey. You can't take this with you over there, and if you want to
Mhm.
go over there, you have to leave that over here.
I'll leave that behind.
You got to leave that behind. People, places, things, attitudes, and thought processes that you will have to leave behind. And that's the hardest thing. You're not broken. You're making bad decisions. And you're holding on to what God is trying to help you let go of, because you've become too attached to that brokenness and that label, versus saying, if I'm being developed, I know that I'm going to have to leave some things to step into some new things.
And that's
You
hard
know?
because it's a
Yeah.
change. Change is not
Yeah.
easy.
Well, the first change is change your verbiage
Uh-huh.
about yourself.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is that I would say is, don't beat yourself up.
Mm.
When you start your journey of development, don't beat yourself up. And remember, it takes as long as it takes.
Mm.
You know, you can't be in a rush.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be in a rush. So you have to, You know, as much as you put into it, you'll get double out of it.
That's a good one right there. Takes as
You
long
know,
as it takes.
yeah, it takes as long as it takes. You know,
Mm.
and what you have to do, the people along the way that you're meeting. This is what I heard something the other day that I thought was really good. A guy was asking his grandfather about, you know, when it comes to people, how should you handle them? And he said, accept people for who they are, but just put them in their proper place.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was so profound. It's like, yeah, I will
Absolutely.
accept you as you are, but I'm
Mhm.
going to categorize you on how you treat me.
Oh, that sounds great. I mean, that when just you sharing that right now, that could help a lot of people because I'm
Yeah,
like you saying like I'll just use it for example. Me, I tend to kind of lump people in as, "Oh, you're my friend." But when you do that, you're putting the wrong people in the wrong place cuz they're not friend capacity. They're more of an associate capacity. You're giving them friend benefits. You know what I mean? Like a
right.
husband benefit.
You
They
should
get
you should
friend
have a
benefits.
lot of boxes
Right. They
to
go
put
over there.
people in versus think about it. Okay, the man, and this is what men do: friend, wife, sex partner.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now the boxes can overlap, but a lot of times, if you get put in that category, they're cool with it. But women don't understand that, and it may be more boxes. You know, it could be friends with benefit. It could be, but the more boxes you have, the more you could deal with the people because you're not putting down who they are in your life.
No.
You're
Yeah.
just putting them in the proper place where they don't have a negative effect on you.
And you know their proper function in
Yeah,
your
you're
life.
not. You're not like you should be here, and I
And-
want you here. And yeah, no,
like you don't belong there.
no.
Yeah.
You know, I want you over here because I want you to be my husband. But
Delusion.
he's not husband material for you.
Right.
But he could be a good friend for you.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with
You
that
know,
either.
he could be that. He could be a person that you talk to every now and. I mean, whatever box you have and the levels and the labels you have in that box is yours personally.
Right.
You know, there's people that you may only talk to once every blue moon. There's
And that's
nothing
their,
wrong with that.
and that's a function. That's
That's their
okay.
function. And
Right.
if they're cool with it and you cool with it, but see, this is the thing. What box I put you in is not necessarily the box you got to put me in.
Yeah.
Unless the box you put me in intrudes on my box. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
If one is under the loop, one is under the friendship thing, and the other one is in the you gonna marry me thing. Well, the pressure is for the person who wants to put the person in the married thing to put the pressure on the friendship thing and lose a friend.
And that's all on them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you couldn't make a box for them being a friend and appreciate their friendship.
And appreciate their beautiful function in that space.
Yeah,
In your life.
and if you understand each other, even though you may still want that, don't miss out on being a friend when they can't fit into your box.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you won't have them at all. Because if you pressure them, they'll be like, I'm just out. Nope, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I told you I ain't going to do that. Why do you keep bringing it up?
And you're forcing something. And one thing you, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Pastor.
Go ahead.
I remember one thing you had shared with me a long time ago. You had shared with me, there's always room for things to change. But
Yes.
if you force it, you don't know. You always said leave room for God to be God and let things naturally, organically develop. You forcing something to develop because that's what you want and you're forcing it on another person, you're going to just drive that person away. And like you just said, you drive them out of your life. And you did that.
Yeah. Because you didn't like the category they decided to accept to be in too. Because the person in the category that you put them in, they got to accept that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For it to be mutual and things to continue to grow.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah.
If the person who wants to get married to the person says, well, I understand you just want to be my friend. I can accept that.
Right.
Great. It doesn't take away the fact that it's what you want. what it takes away is that you respect.
Yeah.
And then the person who's a friend who knows that the other friend wants to get married to them can respect that to say, this is where I am. I respect what you want because what you want is a higher commitment, but I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to play. And see, this is the thing. That person who's a friend, don't play with them in that area. Because you know that's what they want, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got to make up in your mind. Don't emotionally handicap them by giving them mixed signals.
Yeah.
You see, but this is matured adult talk.
Which is part of that Bible thing. Let your yes be yes or your no be no, and just don't let.
You know, this is mature Bible. This is mature talk with grown-ups.
Right.
You know, this is not for kids.
Right.
You know, this is not. See, this is what people pay millions of dollars for to go to some therapist, and just need to get around some real grown folks.
Mm-hmm. Just shoot it straight. No chaser.
Yeah. Yeah, be around some grown folks. Yeah, that's the way this should work. It shouldn't work. Whereas you sitting back going, well, I'm trying to figure out what to do. You know, and I don't know where I met with this person, and they send me mixed signals, and you know.
Oh, what's that common phrase, Pastor Jay? What are we?
Yeah.
We're friends is what we're supposed to be.
Yeah. But again, you have to maturely be in places and spaces where you understand what's really going on in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can't, and you just want what you want because you want it, and the relationship is not what you want, well then you need to back out of it yourself.
And then you accept the consequence of not having that person in your life because you want what you want and they don't want that. So
yeah, they don't want the way you interpreting things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just don't want it.
And that should be okay.
And it has to be.
Because that's their decision, and you
can't take away. You can't make them
do anything they don't want to do.
No.
I'm gonna put you in this box right here. You're gonna go right here. Or don't go over there.
And you're gonna do what I say.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing the whole control thing.
Yeah.
Because that never works out for anybody.
And then when you use manipulative ways, such as sex and all that stuff, it just makes it worse. It doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. Because now you're trying to congeal them into it or guilt them into it and make them feel a certain kind of way about it. And it just makes it worse. So now you're going to lose the friendship and everything because the person that's being manipulated is going to take offense
to
what you say was going to be just cool, now turn into commitment.
That's not what you agreed before.
Right.
We agreed about that.
Right. But the more categories you have, you accept you how you are, okay. And you can be as good to me as you want to be. But we need to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
We need to be on the same page. We need to be on the same page. So, yeah. So are you still recording? You get all this down? This is good stuff.
Yes, I did. Did you? Are we still talking? Or are you good? I'm about to go.
Well, yeah. I gotta go. I gotta get preached. I gotta find his pail. So
okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, put that out.
Okay, I will.
All right. You can say, hey, this is a private phone conversation that we gonna give you privy to.
There you go. We're gonna do definitely that. Pastor J and T.Drake again.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Go ahead and get together. Put it out. I want to hear. I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was our private conversation. As you heard, Pastor J signing off because he had to go take care of his precious pup. So I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation, kind of behind the scenes. It's almost like one of our morning combos between Pastor Jay and myself that we normally typically do. And it's our Monday morning conversation. So it's kind of the same thing. I just wanted to make sure I put this out for the DV Night Talk because I know I haven't done one in a minute. And with this whole situation with my son, which I will be continuing to talk about because this is going to be a thing that I process. But for this conversation here, if you had any comments or anything that you would like to share or you are excited about, then please let us know. Please send an email. We'd be excited to talk to you guys. Or if you want to be part of the show, maybe you want to come on the conversation and, like, well, I heard you guys' private conversation and I particularly do not agree with either side. We're up for the conversation. So definitely come and have a conversation with us. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. And like I say, I'm giving you guys a big kiss from me to you. Remember, I always want you guys to remember to be blessed, motivated, always inspired to do what the Lord lays on your heart. And also, the Lord loves you way immensely more than I ever could. So you guys stay blessed. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to give us some likes, shares, and please comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to either channel, Walk in Truth TV or God's Gift Through His Word podcast, and give us a comment on whatever platform you're coming in on. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, share a comment there as well. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. God bless. And you'll be seeing more of Pastor Jay and myself, T.Drake. For now, God bless. Take care and stay safe.
God's gift through His word. It's God's gift.